Good afternoon, Flosstube. My name is Mandy. Welcome to my channel all about cross stitch. Today is Thursday, April 20th, and it's been a month since I filmed. There's a reason behind that. I have become a monogamous stitcher, apparently. I got stuck on a piece, I couldn't put it down, and I really wasn't wanting to film a 5-minute Flosstube of here's my update. I posted a lot of updates on my Instagram page, in my stories. So if you follow me there, you would have seen anything that I would have had to share here. There's a reason why I'm here today finally though. If you follow me on Instagram, if you are in, let's see, Heaven and Earth, Semi-Sane Stitchers, Full Coverage Fanatics, yeah, pretty sure those three you would have seen my finish. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for press and play. Check me out. I really hope you enjoy what you see and that you stick around. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. I appreciate all of your support. I do want to give a huge shout out and thank you so much to my dear sweet friend Laura at Stitching by the Shore. I know she gave me a shout out right after I posted my last Flosstube, and I haven't filmed since then. So thank you so much to her for the sweet shout out. Because of her and each of you coming and hanging out, I was able to bypass that 700 subscriber mark. I'm well on my way past that. I know subscriber count doesn't really mean a whole lot. I just thought it was really cool to see 3 years into this how, close I was to that 700 mark. So I really appreciate everyone who, comes back each week, even if it's just a, check in every now and again just to see where I'm at. I really appreciate all of the supports. So it's been a lot of stitching since I last shared, but like I said, I was stitching on one piece. I do have 2 other pieces that I have stitched on since then. I've got a picture of a finish, my finish, to share. I don't have the actual piece here, but yeah, so we've got a little bit of fun stuff to share. Since I last filmed, because I ended up finishing it and I had to get it shipped out by the end of March, I don't have the actual piece to share. But we're gonna do the old-fashioned holding up my iPad. I need a haircut. I have one scheduled in 2 weeks. And lately I've been keeping this pinned. Apparently it's gonna be one of those days that I'm gonna keep playing with it because it's hanging right in my eye. I should have pinned it up already. So anyways, back to my portion of a finish. I am part of a round robin group. This was hosted by Michelle Bendy on her Patreon and YouTube channel, that she had people sign up where we are stitching ink circles. And basically we picked a pattern, we divided it into 4s, and we only have to stitch a quarter of it. Many of these are mandala style stitching, and so it's something that I only have to stitch one portion of it, and then I've got 3 other friends who are stitching the rest of it, and by the time it comes back to me, it should be a finished piece. So I was able to finish my portion before I got it sent out. I'm definitely a full coverage stitcher. While this is not technically considered full coverage, meaning, exactly even sides, it's full coverage. And it was a lot of stitching. So, like I said, we're doing the whole iPad thing. This was stitched on a piece of 14 count fangirl fibers in the color Creepy Land. It is, the name of the piece is Pedal Pusher, Roll Your Own. So if you've been on the channel before, you've seen me hold up the flosses. I picked out a whole bunch of different colors, and I love how the colors are playing together. Just seeing it in the picture looks so cool. And the person that I sent it to sent me an update picture today that she had filled in all of the outline work of her portion and is ready to fill in. We're gonna just be dropping my iPad today, apparently. So yeah, I hope she enjoys stitching on it. Of course, I had to find a piece that is, nearly full coverage, so sorry to my group for picking a piece that has so much to stitch, but I hope you enjoy stitching on it. So, before I get into more of my actual pieces that I've worked on, we're gonna go ahead and share some of this because it's still on the topic of the round robin. So I got my next partner's piece. This was stitched by another Michelle, not Michelle D, but another Michelle that is in the group, and she chose ink circles after the roses. And here's where she is at. I have not yet started stitching on it, but it is very pretty. I'm pretty sure she's using Call for colors. I haven't fully looked into what flosses she's using and everything, so I don't have that yet. And I don't know exactly which material she's using. The group is a 14 count group, so as far as I know, it's 14 counts. But I don't know what color material it is, but it is such pretty stitching. I was just looking before I started. I confirmed that our stitches go in the same direction, so meaning the top leg of my stitches match hers, so shouldn't be an issue there. No clue if I'm going to go below hers or to the left. We'll see. So it's going to be very pretty to stitch on though. To the others in the group, if you are watching and you don't want to be spoiled, I debated even whether I wanted to share this stuff or not, but it was very sweet gifts of Michelle to include. And if you're in my group and you don't want to be spoiled, skip forward a little bit. Sorry, I don't know how to like tell you how far. But she included a bunch of the little peels for us. I love these things. I use them to hold up back my fabric when it's on a Q-snap and everything. I've noticed that those have a tendency of stretching out a little bit. And so, especially like when they're brand new, they're really tightly coiled. So they kind of stretch out a little bit, which is cool. I love having them handy though. My hair's gonna get in my name. So it's always nice to have a bunch of those. But she also included this really cool little bag with scissors on it, full of all sorts of stuff. She included this cute little stitching, and this was why I was really debating, do I show this? I don't want to ruin it for the other gals, but I need to share her stitching. So she stitched this little friendship banner, and she included each of our names at the bottom of it. So in my group, we've got Michelle, Danielle, me, and Megan. So that is very pretty. It looks like very pretty variegated thread, at least in the names. So that's very sweet. And she included some limited edition Gentle Arts. Can't read and talk apparently. These are all labeled as limited edition colors, so but very pretty palettes. I especially like this red and pink. That is very pretty. So these will make good quirky Quakers or something else. Adorable little snips. Everything's magnetized. Some of those great rings. Love having those. And I got a needle minder with beautiful M on it. And then some stitch markers, like if I were into knitting or crocheting, or I guess I could add them to floss drops, you know, jewelry. But we've got this adorable little snowman. Looks like a snowman with some kids. And another M. So thank you so much to Michelle for including that great gift package. I will be sure to include the others when she can. Okay, we have a finish. As I keep alluding to, as I'm sure anybody who has been watching knows and realizes why I haven't been filming, I have a Hade finish. So I was just looking back at my last video. I was trying to figure out how many pages I had remaining at that point, and it looks like I had 6 pages left to actually finish stitching on, but I was you know, not really paying attention to any of the page marker indicators and all of that. So, so yes, I was stitching across all of the different pages, but I still was sort of paying attention to when I was getting page finishes. So if you follow me on Instagram, StitchingBee82, I was sharing them in my story because I've got a highlight that I've been keeping them in. So like at one point I took a picture while it was still on the Q-snap and said somewhere in there is a page finish, because again, I was stitching all around, but I figured out where I had a page finish. And so I just kept stitching, and then I kept stitching, and I stitched some more. And it just got to a point where this was the only project that I stitched on for at least 3 weeks. Didn't touch a single other project. And I finished this a week ago today, in fact. I have had such a finish hangover that night I finished it around 7:30, maybe not even quite 7:30. I still had the evening left of stitching to pick up something else, but I didn't. I ended up playing on my phone, playing on my iPad. Like, I couldn't pick up anything else. At one point, somebody suggested, well, stitch a Quirky Quaker as a palette cleanser. I still haven't done that. Yeah. And I'm still missing stitching on this. Like, I haven't been able to really settle on anything else. And I don't know if it's just because I was so obsessed with stitching on this that nothing else is calling to me, or I can't decide what else I want to stitch on. But yeah, I really have not done a whole lot of stitching in the past week since I got this finished. So hopefully we'll be able to get some good stitching in this weekend. What is the finish that we're talking about? Glad you asked. Oh my goodness. She's so pretty. This is Mini Stitching Moon, artwork by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth, stitched on 16 count, white Aida, 2 strands, full cross. I love the colors in the stars, especially like that orange and the red, the blue. They just pop. I love how in the moon you've got your little like a screw or whatever, like you would have at the top of a hoop, you know, like that. I love that you can see the reflection of the moon on the water. You've got the horizon. So the total piece has 79,650 stitches. Holding it up. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I was posting like all kinds of milestones. Like when I had 1,000 stitches remaining, I posted a picture with the song Final Countdown, because I had 1,000 stitches remaining. It was so exciting to see that 100% on Pattern Keeper. This was the first project that I stitched that I have finished while using Pattern Keeper. And so it was, my arm's getting tired holding it up. It's been so cool to see the all the zeros show up for the different colors, and you know, as I'm going through, and like my floss box, I was moving the colors that I was finished stitching out of the way so that I was only focusing on the colors that I still had, and just how that was dwindling down. And so it's just really exciting to have this finished, especially getting through all of that white. That white was a lot. But yeah, she's done. I do want to get her framed, but I anticipate that's going to be, you know, pricey, as they always are. So it'll eventually be on my goal to get finished. Maybe for my birthday, Christmas, whatever, I can request Michael's gift cards to contribute towards, because yeah, that's gonna take a bit. Look at the blue of that star though, it's so pretty. So I'm so happy that I got her finished. Like I said, I hadn't wanted to stitch on anything else. So I had started this piece in February 2018, I believe, and then finished in 2023 with not a single stitch being completed in the year of 2022. So she was time to be finished. It's so funny that I ended up deciding to make it a goal to finish her this year. So I, you know, finally picked her back up starting in January. Thanks to the Full Coverage Fanatics by the Numbers. Thanks to Semi-Sane Stitchers focus on it. Just the monthly focus piece. I couldn't put her down. I got to a point where it's like, you know, I wanted to finish her by the end of the year type of thing. I got to stitch on her and I didn't want to pick anything else up. So it's exciting to see that I was able to get her done. And I never anticipated that by mid-April she would be done. So, alrighty. So I guess that's about all that I have to say about Stitching Moon. I'm excited that she's done. I've gotten lots of reactions on the Facebook groups and all of that. Just exciting to see her finished. So the next piece that I did finally pick up, well, this isn't the next piece that I actually worked on, but we're gonna go ahead and show it now. I've been working on this definitely for the last couple of nights a little bit. It was in a Just Cross Stitch magazine, but I don't have the actual issue information at the moment. I will try to remember to put it in the description box. If I don't get a chance to put it in there and you're curious, let me know. But it was labeled as a floral trivet set. So in the magazine, it had 2 together, and I'm working on this bottom piece, the sunflower. And here we're at. I'm not taking it out of the hoop because actively working on it. So when I picked it up, I had to finish, yeah, this whole corner was done. I think I had to bring just like the little border down and around. I got this whole corner done. No, the bottom one was done. It was the top one I had to do. That's what it was. So up and around. So then the last couple nights I've just been working on filling in the border. I'm pretty much, I think I'm at a point that I can maybe kind of color complete as I, you know, maybe work both top and bottoms together. So hopefully by the next time I film, I can say that this is a finish. I started this in 2021. I want to get it done. It's small. This is a 6-inch hoop. There's no reason why this is still lingering. It's stitched on a piece of 16 count. I think it's just called Sea Spray. So it's all rolled up, but basically there's enough material on here to stitch that other one. So I think the colors are pulled for it. The plan is to stitch it. Who knows if I'm actually going to do that at this point. There's so much other stuff that I want to stitch, so I'm kind of leaning towards that's probably not going to end up happening, but we'll see. It's pretty. It'll make a good journal piece. So then my other project to share, it's honestly not going to look like a whole lot. It's going to look like it's one color, but it's probably 3 or 4 different colors. But this was my most recent full coverage start. I started this back in beginning of March for in celebration of my cat's adoptiversary. This is Brush with Magic. Artwork is by, I just had it. I hate that I don't remember who this artist is. I should remember that. Yeah, I don't remember what it is. I don't have it handy at the moment. Lisa Parker. That's right. Should have realized because my last name's Parker. But this looks a lot like my cat stitches. She's currently crashed out on my bed at the moment, so probably won't end up seeing her. I started in the upper left hand corner, and like I said, it really looks like it's black. So it's really literally just that top corner. I think I'm doing the mini version now that I think about it. I know it's Brush with Magic. I think that I'm doing the mini version. Another 16 count white Aida, 2 strands, full cross. There's still a thread hanging there on my needle. So basically the way I stitch my full coverage, well, I've got some stitches down here. I pick a symbol and I stitch pretty much as far as I can go. I don't stick by 10 by 10 blocks or columns or anything of that nature. I just stitch as I can. This particular one, I was stitching kind of vertical in terms of here's my symbol. I was working all the way down as far as, you know, kind of getting to an even spot. I don't want to end up leaving myself with lines because of how I'm stopping, so we're gonna have to mix it up a little bit. But because it kind of looks like it's confetti, but it's 3 or 4 main colors that there's just a lot of stitching. So this is just the upper left hand corner. It's not a page break or anything of that nature. In fact, I'm pretty sure I turned off the option of showing page breaks, that I just want to stitch it as what fits in a Make You Snap. So long way to go, but lots of black. It's going to be so exciting to get to the cat. This would be a good piece if I were one to stick with a single color and do extreme cross country, because I want to say like 939. There's a lot of stitches, and I could probably cross the entire thing without having to do a whole lot of counting and do extreme cross country. But I'm not one to just stick with one single color for very long. So yeah, so that's where we're at with Brush with Magic. And that's all the projects that I have to share. So I'm hoping that I can kind of settle in on a project here soon and get somewhere. I know I've got other full coverage pieces that are going to need to see some attention on them. And there's 2 full coverage pieces that I want to start. Not to mention that I've got 20 some whips that need some attention on them. So yeah. So plans are to stitch. Find something that can keep me stitching long enough. It's like I've been doing a lot of overtime. So the last couple of nights I've, you know, worked until 7 p.m. And so then I have the evening to stitch, and I haven't gone anywhere or anything. Lots of time to actually get stitching, but I just can't pick up a piece long enough to actually stick with it for very long. So hopefully. And then I have my ink circles that I need to get to working on. And I have a model to stitch. I cannot wait to share that one. So a little bit of happy mail. A very sweet and dear friend asked me one day, what patterns do I still need from the Year of the Woods series? And so I figured out which ones I was missing, and I let her know. And she very graciously sent me what I needed. So there is still one that I am going to have to get, but otherwise this now completes my collection of the series. Of course, like I said, minus the one, because she said she was going to she was planning on stitching that. She had the auto ship while the series was being released, and but has pretty much now decided that she's not planning on stitching the entire series, so she wanted to send them to a good home. So we've got the reindeer, little brown bat, cottage garden samplings, Year in the Woods series, and the ferret, and the jackrabbit. So now the only one that I have left to acquire the pattern for is the bear. So I need to get to stitching on that. That's another one. I've got the eagle started, and somebody just pulled in with some really loud music. Yeah, so hopefully I can get back to stitching on the eagle. So much to stitch, so little time. And then the only little bit of haul, this would have been the, let's see, we're April now, so this would have been March fabric of the club. This would have been the neutral option from Bestitch Me. I'm sure everyone's seen it already by now, but it's called Ledger. That is quite mottled. I'm not used to Bestitch Me fabric being so mottled, but it's pretty. No clue what's gonna go on that. Still debating whether I should cancel that since I have quite a collection, or just keep going. We'll see. So that's pretty much all I have to share for stitching. Life-wise, not a whole lot's been going on. I saw my favorite band Shinedown a few weeks ago. They put on an awesome show. Never disappoint with them. My seats weren't the best because the sound quality wasn't the greatest, so that was a little disappointing. The first band, From Ashes to New, if you're into rock music, I love them. I knew every song that they performed. It's funny, I can say that every song performed from all three bands, I knew every single song. I don't know that I've ever been to a concert that I knew every single song that was performed. So that was great. Fell in love with From Ashes to New. I already knew, obviously I knew all of their music, thanks to Octane, but definitely a new appreciation for getting to see them live. And then 3 Days Grace, I love them, and the disappointing part was the sound quality. I don't know if it was because we had side stage seats that I made sure to stay away from like where the speakers were at when I was getting our seats, but it was disappointing. I even took a few videos of like Shinedown specifically, and even just playing them after the fact, the quality wasn't the best. So it was nice that it was right here in town, though. I didn't have to drive back from the Detroit area, which is where I usually have to go see them. So it was a great day. I actually took the entire day off work. My sister and I went to a pinball tournament that morning. There's a place in Monroe, Michigan that hosts a women's tournament twice a month, and so that happened to be the day of one of the tournaments. I told her going in, my goal was to not finish dead last. I finished 5th out of 6 people, so I met my goal. It was a fun day. Very nice people, very nice ladies there. And then we had another women's tournament in Grand Rapids 2 weeks ago? Recently. Apparently I didn't set my goal high enough because I didn't want to finish last, but I did. There was 10 or 11 of us in there. Yeah, I finished dead last. But the really cool thing about that one is the arcade that hosted that particular tournament is he streams on Twitch, and so he actually took the time to stream our tournament for us, and then he sat at the computer, like behind the scenes, giving commentary. So I went back and watched some of it, so it was funny to be able to hear his commentary. He knows all the games. There's a lot of strategy to a lot of these games. My goal is to keep the ball alive as long as I can, so it was funny being able to hear the commentary. But yeah, so that was fun. That's about it. It's been stitching, work, a couple pinball tournaments. My sister's at a big pinball event this weekend in Kalamazoo. I didn't go, but she did say this morning, you should come on Saturday. There's, so I may go for the day on Saturday. I haven't decided yet. I've been really looking forward to just having a weekend at home, stitching, not having to go anywhere. So who knows what's going to end up winning out. It's a great group of people. I love everyone that they hang out with. But I also really enjoy my stitching time at home, so we'll see. But for now, I think that's about it. I've got just a few minutes left of my lunch break. I am still working for the day, but at least I get out of work at 5 o'clock tonight rather than the later that I've been doing. Great chance that we get for working some overtime, but I also don't want to overdo that either. Seems like we've got some nice weather today. I've got the sliding door open. You may even have been able to hear there's some birds outside that there's been a chatterbox out there that you may have been able to pick up on. Saturday was in the 80s. Sunday was in the 70s. Monday, we got snow. So that's Michigan for you. So hopefully we can be done with the snow soon. I know there's some times that we get just little flurries. It usually doesn't stick very long and all of that. But I'm ready for some nice weather so I can have that sliding door open. One of the best perks from working from home is the fact that I've got my desk on the other side of the camera. So right here in my living room, sliding door is right here out from my patio. I can have that door wide open, you know, on the really nice days anyways, and I can get fresh air. When I worked in an office, of course, you know, it's just recycled air. So it's nice to be able to have the fresh lights and air and all of that good stuff. So anyways, I think that's about all I have to share. Hopefully it's not going to be another month before I come back again. I'd like to think that it'll be in a couple weeks, but I mean, we're going to go with the flow, right? So I hope you are getting lots of stitching in. If you want to share what you were stitching on today, if you stitched while watching, let me know. I'd love to hear about what you're stitching on. Yeah, so I hope you're all doing well and, you know, staying healthy and all that good stuff. Thanks again for Laura for that very sweet shout out about a month ago now. So keep stitching, everyone. Stitch on what brings you joy, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.